Grand rising and priming powerful beings. Shout out to you. It's the holistic motivator. And today I'm going to be talking about entering the winter season full of love, joy, and peace, fueled by courage, effort, and strength. Now, the reason why I picked those 6 words is because we want to literally have foresight through the insight so that way we can actually create what we want rather than suffer what we don't want. So joy, peace, and love is a trilogy of words that says I'm actually going to enjoy the season. I'm not going to be burdened by it. Courage, effort, and strength says this is what's going to help me do that. So the first trilogy is creating the heaven inside of you, love, peace, and joy. And the other trilogy is courage, effort, and strength. Now, strategically picking those words, knowing that your kidneys are affected in the winter, and what affects the kidneys negatively, what depletes the energy of the kidney is actually fear. We pick the trilogy courage, effort, and strength. Knowing that some people suffer their traumas during winter, I specifically says love, peace, and joy. If we can actually keep those 6 words on top of our mind this next 3 months, I promise you, and every single day you affirm the positivity into your life, you can literally transform your life and create life the way you want it. So this is why I am creating this episode, and this is what this episode is all about. Getting into winter with peace, love, and joy, fueled by courage, effort, and strength. Let's get it. Shout out to everybody for tapping in. Please share this video, or if you're listening to the podcast, text the podcast to 5 friends and comment done. I appreciate y'all for listening in. Once again, this is an episode of Ed Talks Daily. If you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, go to edtalksdaily.com and subscribe. Let's get it. Now let's talk about it. Today is the winter solstice, but before we get into that, this podcast is all about growth in all aspects of your life. How do you solidify a healthy mindset, a holistic mindset that will lead to a healthy body, healthy relationships, and in-tune spirit? Join me on this journey to becoming the best version of ourselves. If you want a podcast that will motivate and inspire you, all while educating on ways to personally develop, then Ed Talks Daily is for you. I just want to encourage everybody to please like and share this video, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook or you're watching on Instagram or you're watching on TikTok. Please like and share this video. The year 2023, I want to make sure that the podcast gets out there and empowers people. And after that you like and comment on this, like and share the video, please comment on it. So if it empowers you, please comment on it. And if you're actually listening to the podcast, there's a lot going on, right? If you're listening to the podcast, I want y'all to go and leave a review for me, right? So please leave a review, because 2023 is the year of expansion, and I want to reach as many people as I can with the gift that God gave me. So I really appreciate everybody for supporting that endeavor. So please make sure, once again, you like and comment, you share, and you subscribe. And if you're actually not watching the video and you're listening to the recorded version of the podcast, that you go ahead and you actually share the podcast with a couple of friends, or actually go ahead and just leave a review. Now that I've gotten all the household tasks out of the way, I'm gonna get straight into the subject. I usually don't like to do the household task, but we gotta do it now. So we're gonna do it, because we gotta get this out here. Let's get into the subject. Peace, love, and joy. Now, somebody says cliche, right? Okay, it's not that cliche. Those are actually some of the major things that we all want. We want to be joyful, we want to be peaceful, and we want to be peace, love, and joy. Joyful, peaceful, and we want to be loved, and we want to share love, we want to express love. But a lot of times what gets in the way of that is fear. What gets in the way of that is anxiety and stress. What gets in the way of that is it's worry about the future. what gets in the way of that is resentment, is anger, right? So if we don't have the peace, the love, the joy, then we are normally giving into an alternative emotion that's robbing us of a positive experience. Now, you may think that it's just because of you, but there's actually a collective energy that causes this in your body even when you don't notice it. So what the rooms you walk into, the places you walk into, the society as a whole, the media works, there's something called fear mongering. And around this time, your immune system is actually vulnerable. Believe it or not, during winter season, you're most likely to get sick. So that's why it's so important to have your herbal teas right now. I'm literally coming up with mix to boost your immunity during the winter. That's why we're doing the juice feast, the winter boost your immunity juice feast. But what I'm saying right now is you are vulnerable. Therefore, you have to have a powerful offense through courage, effort, and strength to do something proactive to prevent any things that come against you so that it don't prosper, right? So proactivity says, I understand weapons are formed, but I'm gonna form myself to be a weapon. That's proactivity. Reactivity says, when the weapons come, I'll just suffer the weapons. Proactivity says, what I'm actually going to do is, I'm not going to suffer the consequence of not being ready. I'm actually going to make myself ready, okay? Make myself ready. So keep tapping into this. Those of you who watching this episode, please comment on it. Let me know how you're doing. Please share this video to 5 friends and comment done. All right, some people said they're actually having trouble hearing me, but can you hear me now? Yes, there we go. So we want to be proactive this season in building our immunity. We want to be proactive this season, not just building our immunity, but building our vitality, building the way that we feel. This rising, when I was saying courage, effort, and strength, talks about your kidneys and how your kidneys is affected during the winter time. And the kidney and the bladder is affected during the winter time. Now you can either fuel your kidney with liquids and teas and herbal teas and juices. You could either boost your immunity, or you can suffer the consequence of not doing it so. So I want to empower you to get into this season with proactivity. Now, we all think we're going towards the end of the year and then towards the new year, but the actuality is we're actually just in the final season of the year, right? And the new year doesn't start until spring. However, I'm not saying not to set new year resolutions, but I'm saying let's make it a time that we resolve some of the things that we kind of let linger by doing the internal work. Therefore, the yang nature of the new year is let's do a bunch of stuff and accomplish goals. However, what if we shifted that same kind of yang energy towards working on our lifestyles for proactivity so we can remain healthy? What do I mean by that? I mean, since we're already setting goals, we should set goals to detox. That's great. We should set goals to have a solid rising and evening routine, shorter days, longer nights. If you don't want to have long nights of distress, of stress, of pain, of anxiety, of worry, what do we need to have during the days? We need to solidify a proper morning ritual. I call it a holistic rising routine. If we want to be healthy in the season, we have to be proactive in the season. In the same energy of yangness that usually says acquire things, let's acquire vitality and health. And that's going to get you prepared so that when you are ready to plant in the spring, reap in the summer, and harvest in the fall, right? So what I'm saying is, the energy is not that you need to get all of your goals and everything you want to do in life accomplished in January or February. We're still in winter. But what we do want to do is we want to prepare ourselves so that way we put up walls of defense, not necessarily emotional defensiveness, like I'm defensive. I'm saying we build our immunity by building our lymphatic system. We build our immunity by getting rid of toxins like parasites that crave certain things. Usually we don't necessarily just get sick because there's something in the air. We get sick because there's something in the lungs obstructing the air. There's something in your small and large intestine. There are parasites craving foods and sweets. And as we are cold, as the nights get longer and the days get shorter, we eat a little bit longer at night, and the eating late at night obstructs our digestive flow, and the obstruction of our digestive flow creates mucus in the body, plus the cold air, plus whatever's in the air, plus whatever's going on, plus whatever expectations. So you have emotional distress, you have stress from your job. They say, we got this first quarter goal, you got stress from America. Oh, you want to be just like everybody. You got stress on your finances because you done spent your money during Christmas, right? And all that money you done spent now you don't have, so you're worried about your finances. All of this stress is prone to make you sick. So the way that we actively create in a way that we don't get too stressed as we get into winter is that we are proactive about our routines. We're proactive about our self-care. We're proactive about an internal cleansing. I am Haitian. In my culture, they say you don't want to get into the new year with a dirty house. But the truth of the matter is, spring cleaning is in spring because spring is really the new year. However, I would say even though that spring is the new year and that's why we do spring cleaning and you don't want to get into the new year without cleaning, I'd say do an internal cleaning before the new year comes, when the new year comes. Now why? Let's call this an end of the year boost your immunity cleanse, right? You want to defend yourself against anything. Somebody says the White Walkers of your limiting beliefs and habits and traumas is going to show up during wintertime, or winter is coming, right? Instead of being scared, oh, winter is coming, let's get prepared. One of the affirmations that I said today during Rise and Prime is, I'm not scared, I'm prepared. Comment in the chat below. Let's comment this in the chat real quick. I see it's kind of quiet up in here. Let's get this going. Let's write down, I'm not scared, I'm prepared. Right? So what we want to do is we want to prepare ourselves right now to start building our immunity, building our immune system, clearing out our lymphatic system, right? By breathing intentionally, by juice feasting, by eating, by clearing out the parasites. Some of you like, man, I got a lot of cravings. Yes, you think you have a lot of cravings, but the truth of the matter is they're not your cravings, they're your parasite cravings. And if you clear out the parasites, you clear out the cravings. Now, I'm telling you, some of you, the reason why you want gummy worms every day is literally the gummy worms are asking for more of it, right? They created these little parasites and those parasites keep asking for it. If you cleanse your temple, you will start to find out that you don't even crave that anymore. So now you start to switch from gummy worms to the real stuff, and then you could have nature's gummy worms. That's called fruits, right? So we want to start to do this. There are you got the master cleanser that we shared, the maple syrup, the cayenne pepper, and the lime or lemon, right? So that's the master cleanse. Then we say we want to do things progressively, right? You want to do a fruit feast or a juice feast, right? These are some good things that you can do in this season to boost your immunity, clear out parasites, and things of that nature. That's actually why I took it upon myself, January 1st to the 31st. We won't be fasting for 31 days, but we'll do a progressive way of getting better at the way that we eat. So the first week is just education. I'm just playing around, but education. First week is educating yourself on what's available and possible for you. Second week is letting go. Third week is juice feasting. Fourth week is choosing your lifestyle. What first step are you going to take? For some people, the first step they need to take in their health is, I need to stop eating out and fast food. Some people is, I need to stop binge eating and eating late at night. For some other people is, I need to let go of meat. Another person is, I need to let go of fish because it's actually bringing a lot of heavy metals inside of me. Right? For some other people is, now it's my time to transition into plant-based. Another person is, I finally graduated towards actually not having dairy as well. Right? For another person is, maybe it's my season of letting go of rice and all these excessive starches. For another person, it may be like, maybe it's my season to transition into raw. Everybody have their own stage that they're progress into. I always recommend that you go plant-based. However, start from where you're at to where you can go, right? And then we keep growing along the process. Now, why do I say that? Because I didn't have a from a down to up process. How can I expect you to go from here to here when I went from here to here to here to here to here to here to here? It was very progressive. But some of you will be able to develop the courage to go from here to there. But for those of you who says, I'm going to start by not doing that, I'm going to start by stop eating this, I'm actually going to eat better quality. If your first step is, I'm going to start eating better quality burgers, even though I recommend don't eat burgers, that's actually a better first step. That means you let go of the dollar burger for a better burger. That's actually a good first step. Now, I'm saying, what if we can go to plant-based though? What if you can learn how to eat healthily and would do smoothies and do juices and have raw foods while having cooked foods and do a lot of soups? Winter calls for the eating of root vegetables. Winter called for the eating of things that grew underground, and now people are pulling it out of the ground and we're able to now eat it, right? So we have to learn how the seasons work, and we work with the seasons. So now we're going to focus on, as we transition to winter, it's going to be based on what we eat, what we clear out, because your emotional state is affected by the physical state. Write that down in the chat. Your emotional state is determined by your physical state. Your issues are stuck in your tissues. The source of your stress, the source of your emotional distress is actually a physical stagnation. Your issues are stuck in your tissues. Literally, inflammation is the root cause of so many diseases. Inflammation is a result of accumulating toxins, accumulating stuck emotions, accumulating things that's stuck in your mental real estate and that's stuck in your body, that's backed up in your colon and small and large intestine, or not excreting out enough or effectively for a period of time. Some people don't go to the bathroom often enough, which means that they're backed up, which means that they're constipated, right? So the reason why you feel emotionally backed up is because you're actually physically backed up. And your physical backed up is actually backing you up against the wall. So we want to get from the wall to the toilet. Now, a couple of things you can start to do is have prune juice in the rising. A couple of things you can start to do is start doing intermittent fasting. A couple of things you can start to do is just detox once in a day, fast once in a day. A couple of things you can start to do is to do an enema. A couple of things you can start to do is have a detoxifying shot in the rising. A couple of things you can start to do is literally juice feasting every single day. So there are steps and procedures to getting well, but you have to be determined to find out those steps. So now, what does this have to do with joy, peace, and love? A lot of times we have to work in our emotions are not just worked through our emotions. Our emotions are often worked through our body, right? The energy and motion is stagnated sometimes in our body. If we change what we eat, we can change how we feel. If you change the way you eat, you can change the way you feel. Sometimes you're not encouraged because the fear is literally your kidneys, which literally controls your blood pressure, which controls a lot of hormonal balance. And the adrenals, the adrenal gland, is secreting cortisol and excessively because your kidneys are out of balance. And because the kidneys are affected here, if we can actually detoxify the body, the bloodstream being clear, the kidneys have to work less. The kidneys working less means that it does a better job. The kidneys doing a better job means that you are less stressed because the adrenals controls cortisol productions of things of that nature. So you may be like, man, I'm anxious and stressed all of the time. Your anxiety and stress actually may root from the foods that you eat, for the excessive use of your kidneys trying to detoxify what the liver didn't do well at, what the spleen didn't do well at, and then now the kidneys is suffering, and then now you even now when you pee, your bladder is all yellow. right? So now people are wondering, like, man, I actually need to cleanse my body, because guess what? If I want peace, joy, and love, I can't just affirm myself into it. I can't just educate myself into it. I actually need to detox myself into it, all right? So how to do the cleanse is not as important as developing the discipline and motivation to stay through the cleanse. Because you can find instruction on how to do it easily. I just told you, actually obstructing from food, having certain juices, and replacing some of your meals, right? What I've discovered is people don't have struggle finding information. They have struggle following the information. Struggle being inspired enough to do it. That's why, as a coach, I've made it upon myself to create a wellness detox program where for 31 days, we're literally gonna give video by video. I'm gonna send you text messages, reminders. I'm gonna send you a flyer every single day in what you're gonna need to do. So I really want everybody who's watching me today to say, look, do you wanna prepare yourself for winter to boost your immunity, to step into joy? Of course, it has some other work that we do. We don't just do the physical work, we do the emotional work, we do the spiritual work. We also gonna put in some of the lifestyle work in there too. What I'm creating for January is a detoxification process. And somebody says, there we go. Of course I got that, because that's one of the major tools that I use to help people heal. The detoxification process is going to start on January 1st. Today is the first day of the winter solstice, and I'm actually going to bring out the program tonight by 7 p.m. And you're going to go to, what is it? I forgot what the website it is. But I will post it soon. So basically, it's going to be an immunity boosting juice detoxification program. I'm going to let you know what to do. So basically, I'm going to also ship the herbs out to you. I've accumulated certain herbs that's going to be specific to wintertime and which are more prone to, and some of the things for the kidneys. And one of the herbs is actually burdock. I'm going to include in all of that. So be on the lookout for that detox and that cleanse that I'm going to launch in January, right? So if you are interested in that, just comment in the chat. It's detox. I don't actually have that yet set up, but it's going to be set up real soon. But let's get back to the topic, right? This episode is not necessarily to tell you how to detox. That's why I create programs to help people do it specifically. This episode is to empower you to make it very serious about what you're going to do as it relates to your health and your wellness and your mindset and dismantling fear, okay? All right, so if you're interested in detoxing, put detox in the chat. And of course, go to my website, theholisticmotivator.com. There you can send me text messages and you can send me the word detox there, and I'll make sure I put you on the list. The first week of education is going to be free for everybody. So if you're interested in detox and you're like, man, I don't know if I could afford like $20 or something, just put detox in the chat, text me, first week free. Everybody going to get the education. But if you want the guidance, you got to pay for that. You want the herbs, you got to pay for that, right? Of course you got to. You pay for everything else, you got to pay for your health too. Come on now. So this is the process. Now, let's go back. I said another trilogy of word. Here's what I said, y'all. Courage, effort, strength. I want y'all to remember this. Courage, effort, and strength. Courage of the heart. Courage, okay? In this season, I need you to move in spite of no matter what fear you feel in your body. I need you to move no matter what is going on in your life. I need you to speak so much power into your life that circumstances will not surround and hold you hostage, because you say, I'm actually going to stand above and rise above my circumstances. You have to rise above your circumstances. You have to rise above your fear. You have to have that courage, effort, and strength. Why is it so important to move in the spirit of courage, effort, and strength? There are spiritual attacks on people during this season. I watched a Christmas movie. I didn't watch the Christmas movie. I saw the title. I was like, wait a minute. Why is now Christmas movies, is fear-mongering Christmas movies? Why is there enslavement? That's not even a Christmas movie. So I see what the culture is doing. It's almost as if instead of putting stuff to empower people, they put stuff out to hurt people, to help them die faster. If you want to live longer, You can't be feeding your mind and your soul with too much media that does fear mongering. So this is why I need you to seek empowerment. Find your tribe that is in alignment with your vibe. Get around people and watch videos, not just for entertainment. Look, don't scroll on TikTok just to laugh all of the time. You want your laugh to come from an inner space of bliss, right? You want your laugh to come from when you're hanging out with actual friends all the time. Don't be on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram just looking for carnal content just to laugh all of the time. Stay away from all that carnal content. Let's get into some spiritual stuff here, can we? Let's actually make it popular for the people who are actually empowering the masses. Let's make them popular like y'all been doing for my page. I appreciate y'all for liking and sharing, commenting on my page. I really appreciate y'all for doing that. Let's keep doing that. Here's what I want us to do. Let's focus on empowerment. Courage, 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 courage. Courage is not the lack of fear, but it's moving in spite of the fear. That makes your heart stronger. A strong person is not somebody who does not face challenges. It's a person that triumphs over challenges. Okay? Somebody says, do I have something for stomach cleanse? Yep, I have that. I have the whole thing, constipation, stomach cleanse. I got all of it. All right? So just send me a DM. I got you. So what I'm saying is we want to be full of courage. Now, how are we gonna fuel ourselves into courage? We fuel ourselves into courage by keeping our hearts open, not closing them, afraid of hurt. A closed heart does not just stop pain from coming in. A closed heart stops joy from coming in. And some of the times, the reason why the blood is not flowing is because you closed out your heart, so you closed it out for real. When we open our hearts, we open it up so the blood flow. When you hear these things, my heart breaks. So much heartbreak. Closing your heart closes your heart. Literally. Your heartbreak breaks the flow of your heart. It's not just something people say. It's something that happens in the body. So heartbreak is literally breaking the flow of how the blood flows and the oxygen mixing with the blood, heartbreak. So now, because we went through so much heartbreak, we now ignore and we stay away from love, not necessarily in the love as it relates to romantic love, but we don't just stay away from romantic love, we stay away from all sort of love. So now, instead of radiating love and operating at higher frequency, we then operate in low frequency of resentment, of this person hurt me. So we stay hurt because we are hurt. Because we feel hurt, we stay hurt, we keep hurting ourselves with our hurt. So courage is expanding and opening your heart. And it is a forgiveness that does not take you back to the situation, but it elevates you out of situation. You forgive people not for their sake, because you will not be hurt for your anger. Nobody's going to come to you and say, because you're angry, I'm going to hurt you. Sometimes it happens, but you'll be hurt by your anger. It is your anger that's hurting you. And the person that you think is getting hurt because you're mad at them is not actually getting hurt. They don't care about you. That's why they did whatever they did. They don't care about you. So now you hold them in your heart, give them space in your mind, mental real space. You're holding them in your heart, resenting them, hurting yourself with them. You don't even like them anymore. Now you're holding them in your heart, so they're holding you in bondage. So now you don't have the courage to love anymore. You don't have the courage to act anymore. So now you give everybody a stank looking face, where those same people are the people you could be attracting in your life. So now you actually now are deflecting the very energy you wish you had in your life. I've seen that in many women. It's like, bruh, I ain't do nothing to you. In fact, you would benefit talking to me, but now you just mad at me because your heart is so closed. You don't even know me, but I don't know. I must have reminded you of your boyfriend. You could have had a conversation and have a healing conversation, but now you mirroring a negative energy to me that I didn't even ask for. I don't even know you, right? I've been in that situation so many times. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, this person is just suffering. I was like, man, And there was some times where I was being positive. I'm like, damn, because their heart is closed. Now, I could extend compassion to them, but I'm not going to expand love to them in that format where I'm going to be able like, oh, let me help. Because I can't help you if your heart is closed like that. So it's very hard for you to even get that loving interaction with people if you are closing your heart away from pain. The same heart you close from pain is closed from love. So now, while you think other people is hurting you, you're deflecting the love of other people, so you're hurting yourself with the very deflection, and then you're calling it isolation, and then it's actually deflection. You're not reflected enough to see that you were hurt by that person, so now you become the hurt person that hurts people. That's why they say hurt people hurt people. So because you're hurt, so now you became the masculine actively trying to hurt other people because you're saying, well, if I hurt them first, they're not going to hurt me. So now you're hurting them and you. So now you feel like, man, why my life not changing? You're the one who's not changing your life. So you're like, man, does that mean that I open my heart and get hurt again? No, you got to open your heart up with discernment. Opening your heart does not mean that you let everybody in your legs. I ain't come here to F around. I came here to tell you the truth. You don't like me, too bad. Opening your heart does not mean you open your legs. Opening your heart does not mean you gave them a chance to come inside of you. Pause. It actually means you opened your heart up to love yourself enough to have a discernment to know when to have platonic relationship versus that type of relationship. So you're like, my heart is open and my legs is open too. You better close them legs. Shout out to all the women in the chat. And let's hit the fellas real quick. Y'all be closing your hearts too, right? Opening your heart does not mean that you try to open every other woman's legs. Sometimes opening your heart means that you see women for women and beings and people. Stop looking at them as a body, right? When I became a personal trainer, I met some of the finest women in the planet, and I made a decision that I would never have sex with my clients, and I never did. I'm so proud of myself. Why? Because I had an integrity about myself to say, if I never do this as a young person, then I'll have an integrity as a coach. Since I'll have an integrity as a coach, I'm going to be able to empower women in a positive way. So now I'm going to be able to have trust in the women I empower. So now their husbands will respect me, and I will be a powerful coach. Because I did that as a young man and I treasured my values, it's not that I didn't have opportunities to do that, but I said, I'm not going to be that. So I created an integrity, and that integrity has now bleeded in my character. So now with my character, I became a type of person that can now be really empowering. So as a man, you have to learn to open your heart up. If you're going to do the work, it does not mean that you use opening your heart to open other people's legs. So you have to learn how to be loving and kind to women without wanting something in return to them, not because your body don't want it, but because your spirit wants more for them, more than your body wants what your body craves, right? It's maturity. When I was a boy, I thought like a boy. When I became a man, I put away all childish things, right? So now why would I want to do that? Because my work is more important than my fleshly desires, right? My spiritual, what God put me here to do is more important than what my body wants, right? So I said, I'm going to find the one and we could have sacred sex, baby. I don't need to have sex with a lot of people for me to feel good about myself. So my love does not come from having sex over with a lot of people. It comes from being divinely connected in my gift. So I do sexual transmutation. And when I'm ready to get in that route, we'll get in that, right? So I discovered that was very beneficial for me. So my season of isolation, I actually had a season of both isolation and what you would say is called, when you don't have sex, or isolation and that word when you don't have sex. So I had that season and it served me really well. But at the same time, I was doing other things that depleted my sexual energy, right? And that also affected me. So then God called me to say, I need you to not just be celibate by not having sex with women. I need you to be celibate by not having sex with your hand. Can we be real? It is too real out here. Okay, ain't no such thing as that, right? So I had to stop doing that because it was affecting my psyche. It was affecting my body. It was affecting my energy. It was affecting my manhood. And the reason why I stopped doing that is not because I don't want to get one off, but it's because I got too much wisdom to look. All of this is the sexual transmutation, baby. So now maturity comes with sacrifice. Maturity comes with sacrifice. Less by the body, more by the spirit. Less by the body, more by the spirit. Now, why I say that? Maturity comes with sacrifice. Opening your heart does not mean that you open your legs. Opening your heart does not mean that you actively trying to open people's legs. Opening your heart is that you have heart-to-heart connections with people without expectations. And you discipline yourself even when you want it. Because I still be wanting it. You know what I'm saying? But I have to discipline myself. Why I gotta discipline myself? Because I'm a disciple of Christ. So I can't have 5 or 10 years when I say, well, you know, can't no one may say, well, Ed the healer, he did that, he abused it. Nah, I never would ever try to do that because that's not me. Because I have an integrity about what I do. Right? You get what I'm saying? So when I was a personal trainer, I would go to people's homes. The husband would leave and I would be with the husband's wife, helping her get in shape. There's an integrity that you have as a healer when your heart is open, but your legs are closed. So for those of you a massage therapist, just give a massage and go. Whatever you do. No happy endings. Okay, integrity. Opening your heart does not mean always opening your legs. Being there somebody doesn't mean that they gotta be inside of you. All right? Okay, we just keeping it real, right? So now that means that courage is you open your heart up so that you can find love, but you're not finding love in the wrong places. You're finding love in the right places. You could, and love is not something you find. It's something that you reveal, and it's a dance of love. So people think that a guy's gonna give you love. Your guy don't give you love. You are loving. You're a lovable. Or by the way, you're already lovable, right? You're loving. You're full of love. So you bring your love with their love, and you mix love, and your love have the dance. It's the love dance, right? So don't go to no guy for love. Don't go to no girl for love. Courage is having enough discipline to say, I'm going to learn how to love myself enough, cultivate in me a way where I can bring my love. Some people have a demand for other people's love, and they say, oh, I deserve that. No. Now what you're doing is you are literally demanding something that's not yours from somebody else, and that's called manipulation. Okay? Well, I need you to love me this way. Do you know that I'm a person struggling with my own things, and I gotta learn how, but I need you to love me this way, and if you don't love me this way, I can't be with you, because I need you to love me this way. What? How? Okay. Standards are not demands for somebody to be what you want them to be. That's manipulation. Standards are, this is how I am, this is how I choose to be. Standards starts with yourself first. People be having standards, and their standards have nothing to do with them. But their standards is every single thing about somebody else that they're scrutinized. And it'd be so carnal that it'd be so funny to me. Well, you gotta be 6 foot tall, you gotta have, your thing gotta be 7 or 8. It'd be like, you gotta have 100K. Like, all of these carnal standards. By the way, if you don't have enough spiritual standards for yourself, please don't even get into no carnal standards for nobody else. At least you should have some spirit standards for you. You should at least have some spirit standards for you. And then now, that will start to, now you won't have to demand standards. When you have certain spiritual standards for yourself, You won't have to demand standards from somebody who's not in alignment with your standards. They won't even be in your life like that. The reason why you have to demand so much standards from somebody else is because you haven't set up your own standards for yourself. So now you have carnal standards and you're attractive carnal people a lot. And we're all part carnal, by the way, but some of us are carnally led. So you're not attracting spirit-led people because you're not spirit-led yourself. You're body-led and you like, I want spirit-led. No, you're already body-led. That's your issue, right? And it's like, I had posted a quote yesterday. I was like, man, if people always comment on your body and they never say a compliment on your spirit, you need to really analyze yourself, right? And by that, I'm not saying that people shouldn't say you're beautiful. Like, if you're beautiful, you're going to get that a whole lot. But at some point, somebody should say something about your pleasantness. They should say something about your kindness, your love, your lovable nature, your nurture. They should say something that have to do more than just how you look. Like, man, they be like, man, that ass is fat, girl. Nah, they need to say, man, you got a fat heart, right? If people are not saying you got a fat heart, you need to really think about that, right? You need to really think about what about my body is always bringing people in. What do I need to refine in my soul to attract people where they're like, man, I love your vibe, right? I love your vibration, right? Before they even say, like, you're beautiful, or man, I like how your lips look, or I like how your facial structure look. I really like I'm a vibe type of guy. Like, I like your vibe, right? Before I like your body. Like, and if your vibe is good enough, like I won't even see like parts of your body is like, so when we're led by a vibe, right, it's much different than when we're led by our body. Okay, so less by the body, more by the spirit. And the way we do that is we need to have the courage enough to open our hearts up with discernment. Let's go into effort. We need to have the effort enough to keep refining our character and getting better. Some of you think your mentality is your mentality, so you call it you and you say, this is just how I am, but that's just how you've been programmed to be. And you actually need to unlearn how you've been programmed to be, because up until this point, it may not be working for you. So effort says, I'm not just going to make, oh, this is who I am, how I am, an excuse for not getting better. It's hard. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, oh, you know what? I know I've been saying like this is who I am, but you know, this is actually better. I can actually be better. You know what? I realize I've been this way. That's the blind spot. That's the blind spot. We all have a blind spot. And to go against your blind spot, you have to step on the books. You have to step on wisdom. You have to step on the word to see above your blind spot, right? You have to step on the inner work, inner healing. You got to show up to the class. You got to show up to the retreat. If you always go to the club, but you don't go to the healing retreat, then you're running away from stepping up so you could see above your thing, right? And some of you I told you need to go to workshops, seminars, and retreats instead of taking a vacation with you. I had a word just for my college friends who is not watching this, by the way. For some reason, all the people I went to college with don't ever watch what I do. It's very funny. I don't even get it. But they said, that's what the word says already. Right? People in your own hometown, and they won't work. But you're not in college anymore. I've been seeing, I'll be like, what time, didn't you graduate like 4 years ago? You still doing the same exact thing you were doing in college. You've been turning up and doing all this crazy. Like, stop. Take yourself go to a retreat, go to a conference. The same money you're going to go spend and do that and go to this rave and do all these crazy things because you're trying to live it up. Let's go do it differently. Let's change the rhetoric, y'all. Some of y'all are 40 years old doing the same shit you've been doing. Stop doing that. You need to grow up. I'm just serious. I'm like, man, you need to grow. You need to spend that money on a retreat. Like, really, like, I'm just being real. Like, you can have just as much fun, just different. It's just a different level. It's like, yo, you going to satisfy your body for a weekend. It's a body satisfaction for one weekend. But guess what? What if you satisfied your soul for that weekend? So that way you can actually be okay with your body. Right? So you go to that thing to satisfy your body for a weekend, and then you pick up the weight. You drinking all this alcohol, eating all this trash food, and guess what? With turning up comes a lot of weight and other stuff. Now somebody says, you talking about my weight? I'm just gonna give it you raw. I'm gonna give you bitter because bitter is good for the heart. And if you're gonna be courage, I need to give you bitter for your heart so you can feel me. So you're like, man, why do I need to detox and cleanse? Because the reason why you're picking up the weight is because you're turning up into getting the weight, right? You're literally drinking too much alcohol. And when you drink, you just eat whatever. And when you drink, you put your guards down. Right? Your heart is not necessarily just open. Your legs are open to everybody and anybody, and then you regret it. And then now you go back home. You went to the trip to turn up, and you went back home in shame and said, look what I did to myself. So now you're walking out in shame. Why did you do that to yourself? Can I keep it real in the chat real quick? I'm just keeping it real. And what I'm letting you know right now, and let's go talk to the guys, because I see a lot of women, so I'm talking to the women, but let's talk to the guys too. You talking about your financial wellness. You like, man, I want to build that business, I want to build that brand, I want to do this thing, but you're spending all your money chasing the punani, right? You empty your pockets for some pocket punani, right? You became Eddie Murphy. You were like, I want 2 pocket to go, and then now you emptying your pockets trying to please a city girl mentality, right? What you could have spent on asset, you're spending it on assets. And what I'm letting you know is stop spending your money on assets. You better start spending your money on assets. So you're like, man, oh, you know why I'm not where I want to be right now? No, it's because you've been spending all your money on doing dumb stuff, trying to improve, trying to invest and people that's not going to be in your life 3 months from now. Not even a year, 3 months. Some of you like 2 weeks. Some of you are so crazy that you only do one night. So you're like, okay. And you go to the strip club and you think the stripper like you, but they just using you and you think you balling. But what's actually happening is you're not actually balling, you're being robbed. You're being robbed with a dance. You being robbed. And you think she like you. She don't like you. She don't like you. She just like your money. She like your money. And now you're 30, you're 40 years old. You're like, man, why I ain't got nothing, man? I thought I was going to build a... Look, I didn't get a lot of... but I got a whole lot of... I didn't get a lot of, but I got a whole lot of, right? Some of y'all too, get to the bag. You getting a lot of money, doing some other stuff, but you're not fulfilling your soul and acquiring wisdom. So now you got to a point where you're like, you look up, you see money, but you don't see who you built, character. So some of you forgoed what God put you to do some other stuff that got you money. You ignored your dreams. So now you don't even know who you are. So what I'm saying is effort means you say, I'm going to be a well-rounded person, right? If you don't choose to be a well-rounded person from spiritually, you're going to be a well-rounded person. I'm just saying, you're going to make some decisions that's going to accumulate in your body, right? So we have to focus on ideas of the spirit more than the desires of this flesh. This is why we fast. This is why we focus on healing. And this is the message I have for you today. So we said effort enough to make the decisions and changes that you want to make. Effort enough to say, I'm going to shift my life because what I'm doing has not been working. Strength. Here's the strength. And this is the final one. Strength is about doing what you said you were going to do, even when the energy you said you were going to do it has left. Strength is, I said I was going to stop doing that. I was inspired when I said that. Now that I'm no longer inspired, I still have the strength to keep doing it, even though I don't have the same feeling I had when I thought about it. That's strength, right? Let me give you an example of strength. Let's say you said, okay, I'm going on the date with this person, and I'm going on the date, and I'm not gonna give it up. And then they did a whole bunch of stuff for you. You're like, damn, my heart is open, so my legs are right open. You're like that chicken that you pour some hot water in. It's like, take me now. And I keep talking about this because this is one of the major demons that people struggle with. And they don't really realize how much of a demon it is. And now this is what I'm talking about is you don't realize how much it's throwing your hormones off, how much it's throwing your emotions off, how much it's making you feel shameful, how much it's just affecting your self-worth, your self-value. So I'm just getting the feeling of that. So we're gonna keep around the same theme of that taming your carnal nature as it relates to turning up, alcohol, sex, food, sex, all of those things go together. Those are, I'm telling you, trilogy that people struggle with. It's just how it is. Let's just keep it real. This is what people struggle with: sex, they struggle with food, they struggle with all of these things. All those things affect their kidneys and they just hurt them. You're gonna have to have a strength to say like, okay, my heart is open. How can I remain in my heart space in this and not in my body right now, right? And some of the guys, man, like, you messing up the game for me, bruh. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to mess up the game for you, brother. I'm not here for that. So let the rappers do that, right? They gon' do that. But my thing is to help the women heal. So for all the guys who's like, you messing up the game for me, because that was my whole point. For the people who's like, I'm a high value man, I don't have time for that. I'm just to hit the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the fellas out here. I know you probably don't like me for what I'm doing, but I have a work to do and I gotta do it, okay? I'm just keeping it real. Some of my friends be saying that. They be like, you need to stop doing that, man. You becoming like, think like a man, dude. Don't do that. Okay. But here's what I'm telling you. You need to develop the courage to be able to do that, right? Because I'm talking scriptural. I'm talking like, that's why the word, like, when I was a child, I used to hate the idea of, why would God say we can't fornicate? Sex is so good. When I actually started to grow up, I started to realize what that means. It just comes with a whole lot that unless you're going to invest into being one in marriage, that you don't even want to deal with it that much. Now, I'm not saying we do whatever you want. But I'm just saying at some point you have to decide what's going to work for you or what's not going to work for you, right? And where that goes, right? How you develop the strength to say no, right? How do you develop the strength not to just say no to food, but to develop the strength to say no to alcohol or to weed or to all of the vices that's going to keep, right? I'm going to tell you, developing the strength is going to be fortifying yourself with your words. Words are going to be a major way of fortification instead of going towards fornication. With your actions, with the clarity of your body and your thought and your reflections, with how you feel your spirit every day, with what you say with yourself, how you feed your spirit, what you say, what you put in your spirit, what you read and listen to, and how you feed your body, and then also who you surround yourself with, right? The types of conversations you have with your homeboys or homegirls, right? So it's gonna take you a while, okay? So somebody says, guys won't date me because I'm celibate, right? That's gonna happen. Shoot, I probably would have been one of those guys at some point, right? So now you're gonna have to meet you another celibate guy. It's gonna be very difficult. We live in a carnal world, so it's not going to be easy. So now you're gonna have to get you in environments where you're gonna meet those types of guys, right? So you can't be in certain environments. Okay, this is one final tip because it's about to rain. I'm about to end this podcast. One final tip. I don't know why I keep doing my podcast for like a whole hour. It's way too long for this. It's about to rain. So we're gonna end it here. Some of you have a bad boy complex, but you have a bad boy complex, but you want a healing man relationship. That's not gonna work. You sign up for a bad boy, you're gonna get a bad boy. You sign up for it, that's what you're gonna get. So don't try to be celibate around. That's not gonna work. Let's just keep it real with you. That's what you wanted. That's what they are. Best believe that's what you're gonna get. Don't have a Bible climate wanting the healing, wanting the king treatment. Right? You know, I'm one of those kings. You know how many of the girls with the Bible complex tried me? They tried me, but what do they say? They say the tricks is on them, because I'm not just building a body count. I'm building the kingdom of God, and I look at souls, not bodies. So if you never saw my soul because you saw my body and you just saw what I had at the moment, you're lost, baby. So some of you who looking for a king and a bad boy, best of luck. You sign up for it, deal with it, and that's all I got to say about that. And that's my message, and I'm sticking to it. We're going to finish this another time. But listen, in this season, you want to step into love, peace, and joy. You got to develop the courage. You got to develop the effort and the strength. Courage, effort, strength, peace, love, and joy. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it. If this was empowering for you listening, drop some flames in the chat real quick. Let me see. Drop some flames in the chat real quick. Everybody, drop some flames in the chat. And also, if you want to listen to this again, this is a podcast. It's on my YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, The Holistic Motivator. Please subscribe to my channel. Like this video right here. Like the video, right? How many of y'all think that other people should be hearing this? Like this video, and share this video to some people. If you listen to the podcast, share the podcast. Text it to a few friends. Text the podcast to a few friends if you listen to the podcast. Go to edtalksdaily.com if you want to actually subscribe to the podcast. And once you listen to it, leave a review. Leave a review on Ed Talks Daily, right? Leave a review, right? Let me know how you feel about the podcast, so that way I can literally tap in, right? Leave a review. I really need that. I'm going to say that again. Leave a review. Go to edtalksdaily.com. Leave a review, or edtalksdaily.com/reviews. And y'all, please go leave that review. If you're going to leave a review, let me see who's going to leave a review. I got to do this. I have to do this. I used to just keep not doing, but I got to do this. Leave a review. Go leave a review. And I want you to go to edtalksdaily.com. Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and just download a few of the episodes. That's gonna help blow Ed Talks Daily up. I'm in a season of expansion, baby. And for those of you who want to be around in the community, text Ed Talks to 561-510-9605, and you'll be able to tap into the community. Okay? Do you sell products? Yes, I do. Links in my bio. I sell herbs and teas, and I have a detoxification program starting in January for those of you who want to get the work. We're really going to tap in and do the work. I do this every day, man. This is what I do. It's what I do. I wake up like this. I literally wake up and do this. I wake up and motivate the bird to get up. You get what I'm saying? That's what I do. I don't motivate the bird. The bird set up. I'm just kidding. But I motivate my plants. Listen, y'all text Ed Talks to 561-510-9605. I add you in my inner circle. And I'm a real human being. I text people back. All right, I'm a real human being. I text people back. And I'm in Florida. So shout out to everybody for tapping into Ed Talks Daily. This is the first episode of winter. First winter episode. So I'm excited for what's gonna come in this season. And I'm gonna speak some life into your life. And let's say this together. The number is 561-510-9605. 561-510, somebody comment that. 561-510-9605. I receive all the love. I appreciate y'all. I'm just letting my light radiate. Glory to God for using me for his purpose and his will. All right? Glory to God. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to speak some life into your life, but I want you to say it with me, right? My intention on this is completely pure. I want you to follow my words in this. All right? I want you to repeat this after me. Y'all ready? I want you to repeat this after me. I claim, I'm going to say that, I claim that this winter will be full of peace, love, and joy. And I will act with courage, effort, and strength. I claim that this winter will be filled with peace, love, and joy. And I will act with courage, effort, and strength. I claim that this winter would be filled with peace, love, and joy, and I will act with courage, effort, and strength. It is so, and it is done. So be it. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.